You've already survived your first AI. It was called Adobe Illustrator, and it changed everything when you became proficient at creating repeating patterns using Adobe Illustrator, right? It changed everything. And now I am here to tell you you can handle the new AI, which is artificial intelligence. The other morning, I was scrolling through YouTube while drinking my coffee. I was checking for updates from my favorite channels when I noticed something that made me set my mug down. Video after video had the same theme. They were screaming, "You'll be too late if you don't start right now. Build $1,000,000 emails with this AI hack." Or learn 30 different programs in the next 30 days. I didn't just scroll past. So here's what I've been wanting to talk about for a while, because somewhere along the way, I fell into that trap myself. I realized that I am now following 8 YouTube channels that are dedicated to artificial intelligence. AI Advantage is one, Rick Mulready is another, Sabrina Romanoff, Matt Gray, Austin Marchese, Bit Biased AI, Julia McCoy, Rachel Woods, and I'm probably forgetting a couple. And I cannot possibly keep up with all of their content. And yet there I was, subscribing to every single one, convinced that I needed to stay on top of everything. If I had to pick just one, which is what I'm going to advise you to do, I am going to stick with AI Advantage, which is hosted by Igor Pagani. He publishes a weekly segment called AI News You Can Use, and it's short, clear, there's no drama. He puts a lot of thought into his episodes, and it's essentially the perfect place for me to stay abreast regarding what's happening in the artificial intelligence world. That's it. That's the one. The rest is becoming noise. But you know how it is. That fear is contagious. Even for someone who teaches technology for a living, I fell into that urgency trap. So here's the thing. We need to be aware of AI. We absolutely cannot bury our heads in the sand. But the noise out there right now, the manufactured urgency, the pressure, the promise that you can master 30 tools in 30 days, some of which probably won't even exist next month, isn't helping anyone, especially not us. I believe that there's another way. And listen, you've already done something really hard. You've learned Adobe Illustrator, which is probably the scariest AI in your creative life. And it changed everything for you. You were able to create repeating patterns, put them out into the world, make some sales, and feel like your creativity is finally no longer buried inside of you. You're sharing it with the world. Here are 3 reasons artificial intelligence is no different, and why you're more ready than you think. Reason number 1 is that the urgency is manufactured, and you already know how to ignore that. Think about what it felt like the first time someone told you that you needed to learn Adobe Illustrator. The workspace looked like someone had designed it specifically to intimidate you. The vocabulary was foreign, the menus seemed endless, and yet you took it on. You didn't learn Illustrator by working through a different tool every morning for 30 days. You learned it the way every real skill gets learned, step by step, with patience and with a guide who slowed down enough to actually help you. That's the only thing that's ever going to work. Not urgency, not overwhelm, but steady, curious, one step at a time, showing up. The AI landscape is no different, except the noise is so much louder. Researchers at the California Management Review analyzed dozens of AI productivity studies and found something the fearmongers won't put in a headline. There's no reliable evidence that urgency produces better outcomes. What they found instead is that AI benefits are highly context dependent, varying significantly by user skill level. Slow, intentional learners win when you actually have a goal in mind for how you want to use AI, and not just like an alternative to Google search. Some of the tools being breathlessly promoted won't exist by the fall. What won't change is your capacity to show up, get curious, and learn one thing at a time. That capacity has always been your superpower, and it's exactly what will serve you here. My practical suggestion is to just follow one source. Just one. I like AI Advantage with Igor Pagani. He's entertaining. He keeps his episodes short, clear. There's no drama. It keeps me informed. I also can stay calm while I'm listening to him, and it makes me feel like I am not behind. But you can pick the one resource online that actually resonates best for you. Now, reason number 2 is that using AI like a Google search is going to give you generic answers because context is our secret weapon. The tool doesn't know who you are. When you type a question the same way you type it into Google, what should I post on Instagram? Or help me write a product description, you get a Google-style answer. Generic, it's not wrong exactly, but it's not very unique, and it certainly doesn't specifically tie into you and what you're trying to communicate. Think about what makes your art resonate. It may not be the flower itself, because anyone can draw a flower, but it's the context behind the flower. It's the memory that it came from. It's what's happening in your garden when it's blooming. It's the brushstroke that only you could make to represent it. It's the palette that only makes sense if you know your story. Context is what transforms a doodle into something that a stranger wants to hang on their wall as an art print or wants to order as fabric to turn into a blouse. AI works exactly the same way. When you give it context, when you tell it who you are, who you serve, what your creative business looks like, and what you're building, the output transforms. It stops sounding generic. It starts sounding like you. McKinsey's research on AI productivity confirmed what most experienced users already know. Gains depend heavily on task complexity and user skill level, and require users to prompt the tool for the right outputs. The quality of what comes out is directly related to the quality of what goes in. It's like garbage in, garbage out. So context isn't a nice to have, it's literally the whole game. And here's the beautiful part. Context is a skill that never goes obsolete. The tools will keep changing, but knowing how to clearly articulate who you are, who you serve, and what you want your business to look like, what your goals are, and then what you need, what assistance you need, that transfers to every tool, to every platform, to every update. It's the one investment that really compounds. So reason number 3 is the creative women winning at AI aren't using it to make art. They're using it to make time. Let me be completely clear about one important thing, because I think there's genuine confusion out there. I am not suggesting that you use AI to make your patterns or to do any design work. I am not suggesting you use it to draw your flowers or your animals or to design your collections or to really replace any part of your creative process. Your art is your own, your creative voice is irreplaceable, and no AI on the planet is going to be able to doodle the way you doodle, or see color and color combinations the way you see them, or bring the life experience that you bring to every decision that appears inside your artwork. And that's not what this is about. What AI can do is handle the work that drains you, so you have more time and energy for the work that lights you up. For example, do you need a product description for your spoon flower shop, but you can't figure out what would be the best way to describe it? You can upload your design to Claude, and Claude will draft a couple ideas for you. You upload your design, you say, I need a description for spoon flower, give me 3 ideas. And it'll give you 3 ideas. And then, of course, you figure out which one makes the most sense and sounds like you and resonates with the art that you showed it. Stuck on what to say on Instagram this week? Give it your story and your audience, and then it'll give you 10 different ideas for what to post. How about you're not sure how to word a difficult customer email? AI can help you find the right words and the right tone before you have to type a single word. According to a 2024 survey of over 35,000 workers across 27 countries, people using AI are saving an average of 1 full hour every day. And 28% of those people are using that extra time specifically for more creative work. Doesn't that sound fabulous? 1 hour a day, that's 5 hours a week. That's exactly what we need to do programs like My Doodles Coaching Week and be able to show up for it. That's the creative session you keep saying you'll get to when things slow down. And this will allow you to do it now, because things never slow down. But AI might just buy you back the time to finally show up for your art. So what's your first step? You do not need to learn 30 AI tools. You do not need to follow 8 YouTube channels. You need one thing: a clear picture of who you are and what you're building. So when you open Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, you're not starting from scratch every single time. I've created something to help you do exactly that, and it's my gift to you. It's completely free. It's called Your Creative DNA, a simple 3-part guide that shows you what to share with Claude. It then walks you through filling it out with Claude's help, and finally shows you how to save it inside a Claude project so that it's always there when you need it. You're not starting with a blank page. You don't have to repeat yourself all the time. And it is not anywhere near as difficult as learning Adobe Illustrator. And you'll have a conversation that ends with AI finally knowing who it's talking to and becoming your most amazing virtual assistant, who's available all the time, who's never cranky and never gets sick, and is there to support you every step along the way. So to download it, go to members.artwith. So here's the thing I want you to remember. The tools are going to keep changing, but the 3 big LLMs, which are large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, they're going to be around. So you just need to pick the one that you want to continue to use. I started with ChatGPT, and then I moved to Claude because I just felt like the output from Claude was better. I liked its voice better. I thought it could represent my voice more accurately. That decision is up to you. And I just want to lower the temperature because we're going to be steady, we're going to stay curious, and we're going to be clear about who we are and what we want out of our businesses. And by following my creative DNA guide, you're going to be able to create the one document that you'll be able to update periodically or as needed, but it's going to give Claude the context that it needs to really assist you and become the most amazing virtual assistant that you've ever hired. So go check it out. It's totally free. You can get it at members.artwithanne.com/DNA. I hope you'll grab it and that you'll find it valuable. I have one last question for you. What's one task in your creative business that quietly drains your time every week? And what would you do with those hours if AI could handle it for you? Leave a comment below. I read them all personally, and thank you again so much for joining me today. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button so that you get notified every time I have a new episode. And if you're listening on my podcast, the Creative Business Spark podcast, please leave me a review. I would really appreciate it. And forward the episode onto someone who you think will find it valuable. I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette. And remember, it's never too late to create. That's it for today, and I'll see you again next week.